But even a tiny, right? Like you get your power spikes at level 6 with 3300 build if you can, or 3311. Um, it still needs a blink to really be at its max potency. The Enigma, we're talking about arcane boots into mech into blink or BKB into blink, and that is a lot of farm, which you are going to be sharing with a Spectre. So you've got Spectre farming, Enigma farming. You need to have a Yapaj here that doesn't farm, which we kind of saw in that last game with his Earth Spirit, but it felt like he had no backup from his support. So there needs to be something that grounds this play hard tiny, much more free support that doesn't need as much farm, can be really sacrificial, can still set up for the team. Not sure what they'd want to go for there. MG.Trust, though, do pick up the Venge. So Venge Lina, they could easily just go for a Drow if they wanted to. Like, it might be a bit awkward into Spectre. Haunt's going to be trouble early on whenever it's up. But you've got the Venge, you've got the Lina. You could easily just go Drow or Arc Warden here.
Preferably not Arc Warden if we can avoid it. Drow is fine. The thing is, though, you are going into the Spectre. That's the real problem with the Drow, is you're going to have the Spectre just haunting in on you. And no matter how good of a Drow player you are, that is going to be quite annoying. Not to mention the Tiny's also there to catch you out. But I guess even without the Drow Arc Warden, just having the Venge to cancel off the Enigma Black Holes every single time is going to be quite nice. Well, they could just go for something else, right? Like, Savage, do we...
Ooh. Yeah, I think Terrorblade would be really nice.
Okay,
With a Venge.
that's a good one.
That'd be nice. Yeah, that would be...
It was banned out, though, which is problematic.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been nice. I guess Drow. I'd say Haunt is not up that often that you should be worried it's a Drow. That's really the Spectre's biggest weakness, right? Like, Haunt is such a stupidly long cooldown at early levels. What is it, 240, 220, or did it go down? I feel like it's still around 200 seconds, which is ridiculous. Neon do take the Ench, so that is a support that's a little bit more sacrificial. Can set up for your team with the creeps you pick up. They actually go Medusa. Ooh, this is spicy from MG.Trust. This is a bit of a risk because the Medusa can also drop off against the Spectre. Spectre can build Diffusal. You've got this black hole from the Enigma, although if you get your Stone Gaze off, the Enigma's not safe in that black hole with a BKB, and you've already got the swap you pointed out. So a lot of back and forth here. But MG.Trust, again, they have the solid base with Lina Slardar. They build off of it. They have some flexibility as to who's going off. Could be Slaughter off, could be Venge off for MG.Trust, depending on what Death wants to play. But overall, it's starting to look pretty tight. The question now is how fast Savage will want to play. We've seen Medusa's brush Mask of Madness with a Yasha and start running around. We've seen them sit back and farm as well. So the options are there for MG.Trust with this Venge to set up. It's down to what they want to choose and how far Neon can pressure this Medusa now.
We'll find out. I personally really like this Medusa. I was seeing the problems with the Drow. I think Motivate had agreed with those problems. I think the Medusa is going to be very, very hard to deal with this game. And now with the Kunkka behind it, it's just that much harder. So how do you kill this Medusa, right? Like, you're a Spectre, you want to go into the late game. Medusa wants to do the exact same thing. You've got Boat Rum now behind it as well to make matters even harder in terms of dealing with this hero, this Medusa hero. You've got the Venge aura to, increase the attack range. God knows she'll probably find a Grove Bow as well just to top it all off.
Of course.
I don't know what last pick Neon can really make here to turn this around.
The one thing I see is like an OD, but that's so greedy with Spec Enigma.
It's too
like that can handle the Medusa, but it's so greedy even though it works out. They go with a Storm, which is kind of strange. There's a Kunkka with X, that means your Storm's vulnerable until you get a Yule's or BKB, unless you jump the Kunkka first. Should be an interesting back and forth. There's some tight timings Yapaj has to meet, but this does mean he can kind of set up for his team. If he builds an Orchid first, he has the backup of a Tiny. John Yuel can make some good rotations out as well this time. So I think this is a little bit more active for him. The question now is, who is Neon going to sack? You've got three heroes that kind of need farm, right? A Spectre needs farm, an Enigma needs farm, a Storm needs farm. Not all of them's gonna find that farm. So Neon's got to know how they prioritize that distribution in the first 15 minutes. Gonna be key for them if they want to get a foothold in this game and force it to a game 3.
Should be a very interesting one. See if they can make this work. I don't think it's too bad of an idea to give you a mid that can kind of, not necessarily carry, but it can go into the later stages of the game and be its own powerhouse.
Yeah.
Yes?
I have to point out, look at that Venge set. That's pretty nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Treasure, wasn't it? It's from the Dire... no, not... Yeah, Dire Tide, right? It's one of those premium treasures. It looks really sick. Look at that. Pretty nice. Too bad I can't get that to drop. Keys, chests.
It is a nice set, though. I do agree, John.
It's got a nice hat. Very witchy. It's Halloween in December in the Dota land, Mike. Until that patch comes in.
Yeah, why not?
Still Halloween. Yeah. It's, we're operating on Valve time, of course. You know what's going to be funny is again tomorrow. Like there are still matches that are going on beyond this last series, and the big question for everyone that's playing into that Thursday is like, who's going to be interrupted by a patch? That's the one nervous thing. Like I think America's going to be the one that's pretty nervous, right? Like they're the ones that's going to be shaky. It's like, oh no, are we going to get the patch in the middle of this?
The only teams that should be nervous are the ones that are at the top, though, right? Because like, if you're one of the teams that didn't perform very well in the group stages or, you know, the early stages of the playoffs, you're kind of sitting there like, you know what? I could use a new patch right now to just mix everything up. But if you're one of the top teams that almost have a guaranteed win, you're kind of like, I really don't want a new patch right now. I'd prefer to just stick with this one until we finish this tournament. I am quite intrigued as well to see what this new patch does bring and how it mixes everything up. By the way, John, just so you're aware, that beautiful hat you talked about, it's gone now. It's been replaced by a pumpkin.
Those cursed pumpkins. You know what I hate about this cosmetic, this pumpkin? It doesn't apply to their portrait, right? Like, it shows up in the overworld map, but it doesn't show in the portrait. This bugs the hell out of me. Like, I'd love to see just a pumpkin bouncing around that portrait. But I guess that's too much to ask from a beta game, Mike.
Game will start. Looks like the bounty runes are going to be traded 2 for 2. Nothing too surprising here. Play hard. Hanging around the top lane. He might stick around and go for a first blood attempt. This is one of the real weaknesses of the Medusa. Obviously, the first half of the game, you feel very, very vulnerable. Even right now, she's sitting at 640 HP. Very, very squishy target. Of course, no mana shield available right now. This is probably the best chance they have of killing the Medusa, you know, early on while they can.
Yeah, and I like what Neon's doing as well. They have Natsumi up top. The Spectre, when you throw more heroes on top, does have some pretty decent control in the early levels. So this is going to make matters a bit complicated for MG.Trust. And Savage has got to watch his spacing.
Toss back, they get the toss. Savage going to try and run away, but the slows are there. The enchant, the spectral dagger, it's all going to be too much, and Natsumi is able to take a very, very sweet first blood for himself on the Spectre.
Yeah, that's what they needed to get done. As long as they have the numbers, they can keep Savage down. He's not going to find a steady amount of farm. He's already TP'd away. They're going for their own lane switch here for MG.Trust. So Savage goes down, where you do have Q on the Lina and Det on the Slaughter who's switching out. They'll be laning up against Skem on the Enigma. And this should be much more manageable for Savage. The issue is, having that one Det up top, he's going to be behind a leveled, and that means Skem can just kind of find steady farm here with his level advantage.
Of course, in the mid lane, Fearless and Yopaj are also there, John, and Boombell, he dies to a neutral creep, but I was trying to say that this does look like an unfavorable matchup for Yopaj on that Storm. The Conquer generally doesn't lose lanes very easily thanks to that Tidebringer. Looks like Yopaj, he's been CSing quite nicely, but he is going to find himself very low in HP, and that should only gradually get worse as Torrent is going to come out. He just wanted to secure the range creep. But it is going to be a bit of a difficult lane for Yopaj up until that level 6 mark.
Yeah, it's really not going to be fun. The key thing is that Yopaj is not falling too far behind in the last hits, is actually leading slightly. So despite this kind of trade war, Yopaj is still keeping up in farm, and that's all he really needs. In fact, if Fearless oversteps a bit, there is a lot of magic damage Yopaj can bring in. So you do have to watch out. Overall, I'd say Neon actually having a much better laning start than you'd expect. They're pretty much drawing even at the very least and winning out most of their lanes. So MG.Trust have to ride this rough wave out, understand that they are slightly weaker at this point of the game, and just get what they can while Neon are trying to get this running start with the tri-lane top. They're still holding that tri-lane, just trying to find kills.
That they are. They are going to run into Q, but Playhard is dropping rather low. Does get the toss off, and that should be another kill out, but he does Fairy Fire. Still Natsumi able to pick up another kill onto the Spectre. And looks like Playhard is going to be able to TP out with his life intact. Poor old Death is just going to have to keep copying this harassment out from Neon. Natsumi will continue onto Death. He's trapped in the tree line, but he'll cut his way through. And have to just try and run. There's more impetus do fly through, but Death is going to be fine. Fearless mid lane is dropping low. Yopaj wants to keep going. Almost got the kill, but not quite enough. And Fearless will be able to salve up and be just fine.
Yeah, it's again that point where the Storm does have a lot of magic damage if you overstep, and Fearless, when you run out of your combinations to throw, can be vulnerable. So you have to watch it. Yopaj is in a very good spot to check for that top rune as well, whereas Fearless is stuck mid. Might not be able to fill up his bottle, and is going to be grabbed down, secured by Playhard down bot.
That's one really good thing that Neon are doing right now, is they're applying so much... Oh, actually. Toss. Playhard's going to have to take it. Burnbell, meanwhile, trying to go after Yopaj, isn't going to be able to finish him off. I was going to say that's one good thing that Neon is really doing right now, is applying so much pressure in the other lanes that you just can't rotate to secure the power rune there for Fearless. In the end, though, I mean, the region was eventually denied off, in a sense, because it was given a play hard, and so Yopaj won't really be able to take it and enjoy himself with a nice regen, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, it's still a really small win for Neon overall. They've still got this kill lead as well. I think the one part where MG.Trust is starting to recover a bit is the bot lane. So we're starting to see Savage pull ahead in terms of last hits. He's got his level 3 spike, and
bounty rune down at the bot lane. Savage will take that one for himself. It's actually 3 bounty runes going the way of Motivate. I suppose for Neon as well, like regarding this Medusa pick, you're not really too concerned about her now and how well she's farming. You're kind of just trying to secure your own farm, as you know that it's even if she has a good laning start, it's going to take so much more farm for the Medusa to be online and effective.
Yeah, it is a little bit clunkier to get started, and as long as you keep working this lane for Natsumi, like his EXP gain slightly slower because it's a shared lane.
Savage, he's going to be fine. He has the mana shield up. He's going to take a lot of damage, but is not going to die and can just go back to farming. I don't think there's really much in the way of forcing him out of this lane, unless you found another toss back, but I don't really see that happening anytime soon.
No, they've got the levels up on Schem though, so the greedier draft from Neon, or what seemed to be a greedier draft, is actually paying off here. Enigma is off at level 6. Got that initial farm wanted, is slowly building up, and you're still winning out on top. Although you do drop John you well, but overall, your cores are having some really good farm here. Natsumi might not have been focusing too much in last hits though. Is at 28-9, so in terms of actual farm on our Spectre, it's not as high as you'd expect.
On bot lane, they do kill off Boombell, so another nice rotation out from Playhard. He's going to be able to set up for a nice support kill. You look at that net worth graph, John. I mean, the top 2 net worths are still cores on the side of Motivate. And top lane, Natsumi. It's going to be taken out, and the moment they stop running this tri-lane is the moment it all falls apart. The Slardolina, it is still very, very devastating if they do land the initial stun.
Yeah, it's a triple stun lane. And they've got level 6 on Death, so he does have the Corrosive Haze. He can make that Spectre a lot squishier. Because Natsumi was sharing a tri-lane, he's still at level 4. So he doesn't have Haunt, he doesn't have added levels in the Spectral Dagger or Dispersion or what have you. It's going to be slower for him to play catch-up. And MG.Trust now have that solid lead. You mentioned their cores being up. It's starting to widen. And Fearless, despite that rough lane where you saw some exchanges with our Storm, he is pulling ahead on the Kunkka, so this could be worrying for them.
Yupaj gonna make the rotation. A Crush is out, however, and a Light Strike Array gonna hold them down, but Death is still in massive trouble and should drop. Still Fearless gonna rotate now. He does have the boat up, but Yupaj still going for more, does end up killing off Q. Into the boat, however, Fearless does land it, but Yupaj is just so healthy on mana right now. He could just keep going. Fearless is dropping low now and might just drop as Playhard does rotate. Natsumi will take that one. And that is a huge win out for Neon Esports.
Just a bit of an overextension from MG.Trust. Really good punishment out from Neon. That does drag their course back up. Very even farm distribution so far across the map. However, Neon does take the slight lead now. Less than 1k so far. But it is a slight swing back their way. And this is really much needed. We want to see Yupaj go off to a running start. With those kills, he does set himself up to at least start to build up on the EXP you need in the Storm. And perhaps you can start seeing him play around. Looks like right now the emphasis is on at least finding one item first. Is saving up for the fast Kaya. And once you've got that, more options open up while waiting for the Bloodstone. MG.Trust, for their part, they are throwing lots of bodies out. However, you've reached a point where Savage can solo clear these stacks. So he's playing in the triangle. He's got a ridiculous amount of stacks that he's been eating through from the Ancients and the large camp. And this is without the Mask of Madness. Once you have that, Savage's farm acceleration kicks up into a different gear.
That it does. He'll just keep it up. Top lane, Neon, it's time to set up for that that top tier 1 tower. It'll be fairly easy to take. Got so many creeps around that eventually they'll get through it. Bottom lane not going to be pushed in by Motivate, so this could be somewhat detrimental to them. So they aren't going to find any form of a tower trade here. But you don't want to really, you know, close the amount of farming spots Savage can have, right? You want to open up the map as much as possible. But it seems as though Motivate, for now at least, aren't going to feel comfortable to try and go for that tier 1 bot tower push.
Yeah, I think that's not too worrying. They should find it in the next 5 minutes so to start to secure that bot jungle for sure. But right now, they seem to be satisfied with maintaining control in their triangle. They have not played in top jungle for a very long time. They're just working these lanes out. You do have this Midas up in Natsumi, so you can kind of accelerate his farm and accelerate his EXP gain, which is bigger. And they are managing to really get that space out for the Spectre ever since the laning phase sort of ended. That is something MG.Trust has been very slow to punish now. They are now the ones kind of playing this farm game. Death is still saving up for his initial items on the Slardar. He's been left in the dust, even falling behind Scam, who had a fairly awkward start as well in terms of net worth. And that could cause them issues if you don't start finding these initiation tools.
Oh, Boombill copying so much damage from Scam, almost goes down.
Stupendous.
It's not going to be quite enough though, he's going to survive.
There is little hope.
Mid lane, looks like they are starting to set up here from Neon Esports. Oh, Yupaj just going to zip straight in looking for Q, doesn't quite reach him however. Fearless will rotate to make sure they can't take down this tier 1 mid tower, as that one would be very important for them not to lose on MG.Trust's end. Neon, looks like they aren't going to stick around. They're going to rotate up towards the top lane to see if they can take down Death. But Death seems to be very well aware of what's going on. He will just go straight out for the TB. However, Playhard is not going to throw a blind avalanche. The scan came out a bit too late.
Yeah, it would have been fairly nice if they found that kill, but it's now just time wasted here, which is something Neon doesn't really want to do. They want to get this gank train going, help play hard, build into this blink with the kills that they might find. But so far, despite being 6-2, the lead is there for MG.Trust. Savage still up ahead, and
Bo gonna fly in. They want that tiny first. Play hard, just gonna take it straight on the chin. And the Tidebringer hit just gonna take him out. Now on to Januel. This Enchantress is not very tanky. And another Tidebringer hit out from Fearless is gonna be more than enough. Yopaj, he did TP mid, but decides better of it. Goes for the Arcane Rune down to the bot Power Rune spot. There's not really much he could have done to help that situation out.
No, it's 2 solid pickups for MG.Trust though, and that is, you know, something they'd take. You're going to be fairly pleased with that. You're getting all the space out for Savage. It's rather surprising Neon has not taught to check the triangle. Not even a casual ward run into the triangle, not smoke up. This is costing them. Savage is just allowed to play this farming game. He's allowed to just build up as much as he wants, and it's still fairly early to call the Medusa a powerhouse, but this is certainly a better start for Savage than you'd expect after how his initial laning phase went. Although they do smoke up now.
No, they do. They're going to run straight into Boombill. Not quite the kill they wanted, but they are going to have to accept it. And Boombill, I believe he's actually quite happy about that. The Savage was just behind him. And they commit a 3-man smoke rotation just for a position 5 Venge. He's definitely not going to be too upset.
No, it's a good here to sacrifice out. You're not missing too much. Rather sad that you do lose your illusion with the Enchantress around, though. That's kind of busted.
Do a lot of things with Enchant, John. Oh, Light Striker A, Laguna, Boat. All of it going to be thrown out. Yopaj. Can't underestimate the damage output of Neon, and now Play Hard is going to avoid the crush. Oh, Scam going to go for the Malefice on to death. There'll be a Haunt to come in. Q. Oh, Scam lagging again.
Oh.
You know, I don't blame Scam, John. I mean, there's been so many frame issues, FPS issues in this game recently.
I suppose. Just always awkward.
I mean, it's kind of ridiculous how often they're happening. I feel like it's happening like 5-10 times a game these days.
Yeah, I think we've been lucky so far that in the groups it hasn't been as bad in the middle of fights like this. This is just unfortunate. It doesn't really change the circumstance, though. Q does look fairly stuck in the water. It could give MG.Trust a bit of a better time, actually. So we'll see. Skem, he's been holding on to that black hole. Might want to opt to throw it out just for a simple support kill, but Q is fairly low at 500 HP. So they might just rough out the stun. Is a level 3 light strike array, so it is a 2-second stun. Not sure if that's going to be enough to save Q. There is no avalanche toss, though. So that's the big thing. But the dagger was on its way out. Should be on its way out, as it looks like Natsumi avoided the stun.
Let's see what happens. We'll have to wait for these reconnections. If it's only Q they get, it doesn't feel like it's worth the haunt.
Definitely. But I think they'd have to take it. Like, look at the positioning of MG.Trust. Fairly scattered out. You would kind of be isolating yourself if you jump into either Fearless or Death. And if you jump onto Boombill, could also be a bit dicey, as you are blocked. The rest of your team's blocked from a river. You know, so no other option unless they wanted to haunt into Savage, which is very awkward when he has Stone Gaze plus Mask of Madness plus a TP ready. So you should be safe if you do haunt into him. It's the only target they can go for, and Natsumi's been pocketing this haunt for a long, long time. So I suppose just putting it on cooldown is better than nothing.
Well, there's your reconnection. Asking for
all this things.
Like your Page is the main one having problems now on the Storm, which is definitely the last player you need problems with right now. He is the top of the net worth in terms of Neon Esports.
Ooh, yeah, that's
straight disconnections.
looking bad.
Yeah.
Oh, it's looking really bad. Is it network? It looks like it might be network. Classic
Standard.
Philippine internet.
Yep. Never ceases to amaze me, John.
Even when it goes right, there's always something wrong with it.
I feel like that'd be
Just the way it is.
the only thing that would ever stop me from like, going to the Philippines to like move there for a while. It's just from all the people I've known in the Philippines, just everyone says the internet's just so bad.
Yeah, it's honestly it's a lot better nowadays. I think people are forgetting how bad it used to be.
Oh, hold that thought, John. We're back into the game. Q is gonna die. And they are going to back off. So they only get the Lena for their trouble, which definitely doesn't feel very worthwhile. But my apologies, John. You were saying, how bad was it back in the day?
Oh, it used to be bad. You know, when you guys were probably on 5 Mbps, I think our highest plan was like 300 kbps, 320.
Oh, wow.
So it used to be that bad. Now we've got access to minimum of, I believe the minimum plans are 5 Mbps, which is like a factor of 10 better than before. So for me, it will never be as bad as that point. That's why I'm fairly happy now with being back home, because man, for the longest time while I was in Singapore, I would suffer when I'd come home. You know, you'd go from 100 Mbps down to 256 kbps, quote unquote broadband. I would just rage. I was just so angry back then. Now I'm still angry, but not as angry, Mike.
That's all right, John. As long as the improvement. That's all that matters,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's it. That's all you need. Still, Neon, they need to improve their own standing right now. 8-5, so they are head and killed. Slight net worth lead going their way. They are still playing with this ticking time bomb game of having two big cores farm against each other. And it does feel like Savage is going to hit his spikes a lot sooner. The Medusa just tends to want to show off earlier on. Is going into the what looks to be a Dragonlance right after this Yasha. So Savage is going to have a smooth ramp up with that. They take the tier 1 bot. Neon, for their part, can't really go for the mid-tier 1 just yet. Fearless is there constantly de-shoving. They don't really have options. They might run into 2 heroes, though.
They will. They have found out play hard. He'll try to make a run for it. He does have Skem behind, but they swap him back in. Even if Skem thought about helping, Fearless was there just in case. Definitely was not well advised.
No. You know, this is one thing we haven't really mentioned as well, right? But when you've got Slardar Venge, the minus armor you run is ridiculous. Corrosive Haze at level 1 gives you -10. Wave of Terror at max level gives you 6. So it's a lot once you get the levels up, and they can absolutely melt you physically. You got to watch out for that as Neon. But it looks like Scam is still a ways off from fully finishing his aura build.
Play hard. Avalanche, but does not get the toss. Unfortunately, he got the illusion. Savage does have a Manta up now, which is going to be somewhat concerning here for Neon. And tier 1, in classic Medusa fashion, is slowly going to be chipped away at.
Look at that range. Right outside.
Trying to go for the creep wave. He's been X'd up by Fearless, but he will avoid the X-Pack. In all fairness, Savage is very low on mana right now. So there may be a slight kind of scare as Yapaj is going to jump in now with the Haunt, and they do get him. The boat was there, but it was just a bit too late, and now Fearless has been left behind. No, in fact, he isn't. Boombell will save his life. Yapaj is going to keep going for more, however. He wants Q on the Lena. He might just have enough to get him as well. Bit low on mana. Maybe he's gone too far. Laguna does come out. Yapaj now a bit of a sitting duck. Needs a bit of help. The help is coming though. Skem is there with Januel and Natsumi. They are just going to surround Fearless and take him out. This is a pretty big win out for the side of Neon Esports.
Yeah, the MG.Trust overstay their welcome. That low mana on Savage really just cost them. You need to be cautious when going for a push like that. Neon did cost them the Haunt, but they do find bigger kills this time. They even take the stacks away from Savage. That is the bigger loss here for the Medusa. And you're seeing Natsumi start to pull ahead. Midas build up, trying to pay off, and oh.
Yapaj going back in after the Slardar death, but Boombell does swap him out still. Boombell is going to die, and now, ooh, the Black Hole's going to be committed. They just want the kill if they can get it, and they will definitely get it. And Motivate, they've thrown quite a bit away now. And you're starting to get a little bit concerned about Motivate's chances in this game if that keeps up.
Yeah, they need to tidy up their game here. Neon are starting to pop into that point where they can really just run at you. The Spectre Natsumi is still not the most farmed up, but whenever Haunt's up, they're disciplined enough to play around it. And that's the big part. You've also got Yopaj with this very early Bloodstone ready. So he's got so much HP, so much regen on hand as well to get that effectiveness out. And this is scary now. Natsumi has the Diffusal. So your Medusa is not going to be that tanky with Mana Shield. It's not going to feel that good for Savage if the Spectre can focus him down. Even the illusions are going to hurt him. And MG.Trust have to be super cautious about that. Looks like they might go for a Roche play. There is a ward watching that movement in, though, so they have an inkling that it's happening.
This is very dangerous of Motivate to try and go for. I mean, they can definitely take down the Roshan with that DD rune and the Corrosive Haze. They seem to feel very, very confident, but you are up against the Storm who can zip in at any time. The boat's going to fly in. Now, Yopaj, he gets it! He zips right through and manages to steal the Aegis away. A perfect still out from the Storm Spirit. They are going to lose a couple heroes, but that's why it's dangerous.
Oh, man. Yopaj on point today, bouncing back in this game. Just turning it around. MG.Trust, they lost the gold, they lost the Aegis. They're just not fast enough. Really good movement out from Neon, and not worth the risk. They find 2 kills for their trouble, but you can see net worth swinging Neon's way now. 3K up, 14-9. It's MG.Trust's turn to play this farming game, to take a step back, get a build-up on their side. And it's going to be a bit longer until that can really take effect. Like, this is such a huge power spike on Yopaj and Natsumi as well. They have the Haunt back up. Black Hole in about 40 seconds. They've got Aegis. Neon can start to dictate how this game goes now.
That they can. It is certainly back to the farming game for MG.Trust just after a couple bad team fights. All off the back of that mid-tier 1 tower push they tried to go for. Now play hard looking at Q mid lane. And Yopaj going to find another easy kill for himself. 21 Bloodstone charges on the Storm. Feel pretty confident to go for a bit more if he wants.
Come on, sprites.
Oh, toss back on an illusion, but Yopaj right in the back lines wants to go after that bench Burnbell. However, the Stone Gaze is out. He needs to zip out. He is going to be out of mana now, however, and Death is going to chase him down. They know he's not got any mana, but he does have a bit now, considering that clarity. However, he has been X'd up. He's going to go down once. I don't know if they can find him a second time. Their timing's going to be on point, and they will get the stun off into another. Do they have the damage? They will. A massive turnaround now from Motivate. Considering the last couple team fights really did not go their way, they desperately needed it.
Yeah, it's a big win for them. Swing that lead down to just 1K once more. Very even game in terms of farm right now. The big thing for Neon is that they've got 2 farm cores. So Natsumi and Yopaj are getting better farm distribution than Savage and Fearless is. However, the Medusa is hitting that spike. Level 15 up. The Scotty is going to be built up soon. That Savage is pocketing 3K gold right now. And once you do have the Scotty, the stats kick in. It is going to be harder to rip through the Medusa. And the Medusa will be stopping a chunk of the regen that Neon's got. You know, it's going to make that mech slightly less effective. Make those Nature's Attendants from John Yuel slightly less effective. You will have to be cautious about that. Still, we haven't seen Natsumi deal with Spectre yet with that Diffusal. I think we're going to have to really see him start to focus down onto Savage in a big way. Looks like Neon is going to have to rely on that from their Spectre now to deal with Savage. Maybe down the line we'll see Yopaj go for the Ags upgrade as well on the Storm. But
Fearless. He's zipped on by Yopaj. Fearless did have his whole team behind him though. Couldn't completely commit to that team fight. How's Alright, Natsumi going for the Eye of Skadi. Hey, the Medusa and the Spectre, the thing is they have such similar build-ups. It's just, it almost feels like the exact same items being built up. Apart from the Diffusal, of course, on Natsumi.
Yeah. There is a big spike here in Savage, though. He's got the butterfly before an MKB could be found. So he's going to be a bit tankier in the front. He's going to do a lot more damage. The smoke out, though, doesn't look to be a success. Unfortunate for MG.Trust. They're the ones scanned out.
They are. So they aren't going to go for the fight yet. Genial's been spotted in the dire jungle. He's going to go for a TP away, and he's going to be fine. Oh, regen rune found for the Storm. Me, good feeling for him the next team fight that comes around.
You know, I mean, your Paj has been setting up. Having this additional sort of pop on him is going to allow him to really pull into the back where MG.Trust has been really vulnerable. MG.Trust right now, they don't quite have any BKBs up and running yet, so they're always going to be susceptible to that initiation from the Storm. Fearless is the first one to farm his up, very close to finishing it up, but beyond that, just no spell immunity at all is sort of causing them issues right now, especially when your Paj finds the right target. So gotta kind of mitigate that for MG.Trust down the line. BKBs are going to help out their cause. But for now, at the least, they've got this pipe on Death. So they are holding back some of that match damage. But the control is always going to be an issue. Still, MG.Trust have grouped up down bot, going for a tier 2. But speaking of BKBs, Yapaj has one as well. So that control they had earlier, not going to be as clean. It's going to be reliant mainly on Bash of the Deep once that BKB's pop.
And it will. The backside, smoke up, play hard, gonna move in with Skem and Januel. Outpost gonna be taken. They are really wrapping around the long way, trying to get the high ground advantage. G.Trust, they're going to run straight into them. They've got to watch out for a big black hole here from Skem. Skem has shown himself, and a double crush comes out. Hort is going to be there. They do come in. Natsumi trying to go after Boombill. They are going to lose Januel, but Yopaj also coming in. Now the boat to be out. Natsumi actually avoids the boat stun. And the Stone Gaze doesn't really do anything, so now they can just turn back around. Skem, black hole, the toss back into the black hole. It's all going to be perfect. And now Yopaj in there up against Fearless. Wants to go after the Kunkka, but Savage still trying to fight this one out. Laguna is going to be there. The black hole wasn't enough. Yopaj, he's going to remnant out. They didn't have the damage.
Ooh. Savage just healed back to full. Did he manage to get... It looked like he got a Mystic Snake out, got a top up when it came in. Just way too much durability coming through. Cost them in the end. They still find 2 heroes, though. But they lose the Spectre. That just hurts. And that's you throwing out a big black hole. Not a good sign for Neon. MG.Trust gonna go for the kill.
Tries to Guardian Greaves out of this, but he cannot. And that butterfly pickup from Savage has really paid off.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you haven't got any MKB carrier, right? Like, the Storm doesn't want it, the Spectre doesn't want it. Nobody wants it on Neon Esports. Like, the best you can ask for is a Divine Rapier. On the Spectre, maybe, but... It's like, before that, how are you going to deal with this butterfly pickup from Savage?
You don't. You also have to... Yeah, it was also down to Fearless using that halberd on your Paj.
Oh, nice swap back onto Savage. Boombill making sure the toss back wasn't there. Now Yopaj been stunned up through the BKB. Has to zip away. That was his 9-second charge going down. They're still going to try and fight this one out. Boombill swapping Death out once again, making sure that everyone is safe. That initial swap mid-toss was just perfect.
Boombill's just been doing way too much work. And with the Scotty up, Savage is just confident enough to just stand in front. He has nothing to worry about.
No, he doesn't. They're zipping in and out, trying their best to kind of whittle down. Fearless actually going to go for a BKB, but I suppose they'll counter Genuel. I think that might have been a misclick, but Now the Haunt's going to come in. They do Vortex up the Medusa. Haunt in from Natsumi. He's committed all the way. Can they do this, however? Well, everyone's ignoring Savage for now. Natsumi has kind of been left behind. An avalanche toss out onto the Medusa. Meanwhile, Death going after the Spectre. Januel's going to die on the Enchantress. Yapage going for a Vortex back on the Slaughter. But he's forced to BKB and walk away from this. So they got a couple supports, but that's all they're going to get for their trouble. It's not going to feel too great.
Oh,
in fact,
Yapage
Yapage has been caught out. He's got no mana left. He's just got a tiny bit. He's going to try and zip away. Natsumi comes back in. An avalanche toss is not going to help out. They toss back towards the Storm Spirit. He's still going to walk away, but Natsumi, he's the one in trouble now. They found the bigger target. He's going to TP, but it is not going to be enough. And Savage continues to give it to him. Oh, just so many things going wrong.
Ooh, this is a scary part for Neon now. They have thrown a massive equality, a massive equal state away. This is definitely to the advantage of MG.Trust now. They get to go into that pit. And remember, this is still a Venge Slardar duo with Medusa. These Roche takes melt very fast with the minus armor they've got on hand, along with his medallion as well, up in Boombell. So this rush is just going to go fast. Aegis Cheese on the deck. Savage going to have a good time. No zips this time for Yapage. So misses out on the opportunity. That means MG.Trust have even more opportunities to go high ground.
Here we go. Motivate.Trust not interested in game number 3. They want this over in 2. Top lane, play hard, gonna get spotted, trying to creep skip. Does get away with it, but will his TP make it? It looks like it will. Death doesn't believe he could make it in time to cancel it off. Into the top tier 2 tower. Savage, of course, can just stand out of range and do this. Nice bit of a creep wave there for some extra gold.
Oh, guess what? There's a telescope.
Oh,
On
good.
Boombell. Yeah, telescope, Vengeance Aura. What more could you ask for?
Fun part was, Boombell wasn't even around just then when he was attacking that tower. So, we didn't really get to see the beauty of the Venge Telescope Medusa. Get slightly unlucky though, didn't get a Grove Bow, which, you know, would have really added to the balance, but we don't get that.
No, not quite. Hey, maybe if the game goes long enough, we'll see a Ballista come out. That'd be pretty dank.
Oh, no, Natsumi, no.
Oh!
The stun is not going to connect Death. He was too ahead of his time. Trying to predict where Natsumi was going to go. It's going to be all right.
Yeah, it's a really, really good movement out from Death, though. He has been on point. Like, ever since he's been standing in here, just delivering the goods here for MG.Trust. There is a blink now on Scam, so maybe the Black Holes can come in. We said the same thing in the first game, though. Scam's got to be on point with this Black Hole.
Well, Boombell's got the 2 charges of swap. That's my problem. With a telescope. And he has been very on point with his swaps. So there's no Lincoln Sphere, there's nothing like that to block off the initial swap. Meanwhile, oh, Scam's been caught out. Fearless found him. Savage has also got a Divine Rapier, mind you. They're going to try and make the jump in, and they have found Boombell. Savage with the Stone Gaze, willing to team fight. The Black Hole is going to be there as well, but the double stun is there from Scam, and that'll be Scam going down. Why is there a Divine on the deck?
The courier died. Okay, it goes back to Savage.
Oh, Savage. Really trying to make it hard for his team.
Have you ever seen that? Like someone ferrying out the courier and losing it with a Divine, and then having the enemy core pick it up, immediately lose it. Oh my god. Savage is trying to give everyone a heart attack.
I think we've seen it, but it's been a long time since we've seen it. Play hard, caught out. Q also being caught out, but Death is there with the crush, and Yapage is dead. No buybacks left. This should just be it.
Oh.
There it is. GG is called. Motivate.Trust will make it through to the next round, and unfortunately for Neon, they are going to have to make their exit.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Neon, but MG.Trust, they were up and down in groups. They ended up in the lower bracket here. The former back-to-back champs of BTS tournaments, BTS Pro Series Season 3 into Summit 13, kind of having this performance in groups was worrying. They come out on top now. They do get to go on, and Neon's gonna have to, enjoy the holidays now. They get to take a little bit of a break as we do enter the Christmas season, unfortunately. But props to MG.Trust pulling ahead. Neon issues in the draft. I think you and I can agree. Second game draft was a lot better, but the pop back into the Enigma was just so strange, right? After what happened in game one, you put the same amount of pressure on Schem, and you still had this sort of same timing. The Spectre and the Troll both had sort of similar farming timings as well. So it wasn't completely fixed. Yopaj did do better on his Storm, but it wasn't enough to overcome.
Well, with that, John, of course, that is it for tonight. We will be back tomorrow for some more playoffs. We're going to the upper bracket tomorrow. However, you are gonna be able to enjoy Ares and Danog. They'll be overcasting tomorrow for those upper bracket playoffs. You and I, John, we're going to have 2 days off, and we'll be back to cast the finals after that. But until then, do enjoy Ares and Danog's casting, and of course, well, we'll see you after 2 days. Till then, it's MLP and JohnXFire. You will have a lovely night and enjoy the rest of the playoffs.